Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It is a pleasure to have you back here with us. Happy New Year. It's the first show of the year. And we have a lineup, an amazing lineup for this year. And today we're traveling to India. And we're going to have an amazing sister with us today. And she's going to inspire us. I'm just going to give you a little bit of background, just so that you can already get ready and get excited. Her name is Roshani Shenazz, and she is an accredited holistic therapist and a training provider. And she is eminent spiritual thought leader. She's very spiritual, and she's focusing on happiness, healing, well-being, and also corporate and organizational wellness. And that's what we're gonna try to talk about today. And she works through intuitive channel guidance and other integrated healing, well-being, and mindful techniques, and for guiding, healing, building spiritual immunity, well-being. And she has a story, so I'll give her the opportunity to introduce, to give you a bit more about her background. She has an inspiring story, and we're gonna try to capitalize and on that particular story to really focus our conversation today on why corporates need to focus on happiness and well-being in a consistent way. So that's what we have today. So I'm going to bring her with us, but please let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any question, if you have any, if you want to be part of this conversation, don't hesitate. Put your comment into the comment area and let us know. And anything that we're not going to be able to address, you can follow up with my guest today. So let's go. Let's start this year with with a big bang. I know you're gonna enjoy. Roshani, Sister Roshani. She's just so inspiring. You will enjoy her presence today. So don't go anywhere. I'm gonna bring her now. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone.
So welcome, welcome, Sister Roshani. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Talk Show. It is a pleasure to have you. I've been trying to get you onto the platform for quite some time, and I'm really delighted to be able to host you today. But before we continue and start our conversation, and like I was saying, it's going to be one anticipated to be very inspiring. Just want you to add to what I've shared while introducing you. Just let us know who you are again, and what are the key things that we need to know about you.
Namaste, firstly, to everyone. Thank you, Sister Mirel, for having me here. And yes, it's been quite some time, but as I believe that everything is in its own divine timing. So, to be on the first ever show in this powerful year of number 8, which is 2024, is by itself such a huge thing. So, thank you, Divinity, for working all of this out for me to be on this show. And thank you for having me. So, little about my journey. A lot many know, and there would be millions, millions who don't know. So, my journey is one that of implicit belief, faith, and to a large extent, surrender, I would say. And these three things have been my keys through my journey of spiritual growth, where I come from one of the most hectic, chaotic, and madness personified industry, which is the film industry in India, also known as Bollywood by many. So, after 20 plus years in my film industry work, where I journeyed through creative to management and several roles and hats that I wore through this period, I went through a life death illness during 2005, 2006. And that somewhere turned around a lot of things internally, though it was not very conscious, or I was not really aware of these changes that were happening within me. So it was much after that illness in about 2009, so about 3 to 4 years later on, that I started experiencing things that I couldn't kind of pinpoint. I
Mm-hmm,
couldn't know or understand why it was happening, what was happening firstly, and whatever that was unfolding was extremely overwhelming. It was fearful at that time as well, because when you wake up suddenly and start getting voices in the head, for me it was like, whoa, what is happening?
mm-hmm,
And as it graduated on its own of listening to that voice and implementing that voice in many ways, it came to a point where it asked me to leave my job during that time when I was working. Now, I was out of almost a crore in Indian rupees debt at that time, after my
mm-hmm,
medical, bills and my home loan that I had at that time, and so on. And I was like, I've just got out of this huge thing, and how can I leave my job? So for
mm-hmm,
me at that time, it was like, if it is answering or giving me answers for other people or messages for other people, it was fine. But suddenly asking me to leave my job, it was like, I think those medicines are playing up now, and something is wrong. Something is wrong with me. I'm going woozy in the head. And I tried to avoid that. I tried to disregard that, but it went on becoming so strong, and it was
mm-hmm,
just getting stronger by the day, until one fine day I wake up, I give a handwritten resignation letter at my job at that time, and I leave it. And I
mm-hmm,
just don't know what is going to happen next. So it is easy when you get into, so many people call midlife crisis, or so many people call that, oh, something huge happened, and then you physically or mentally go seeking spirituality or respite of sorts beyond your physical means. But that
mm-hmm,
wasn't so. I wasn't seeking anything consciously at all. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to go to Cannes and I wanted to win the film fair. So there was no spiritual seeking whatsoever in my life. And
mm-hmm,
it happened at a time not when everything was cushy and comfy in my life.
Mm-hmm.
that I had a rich father or a rich husband or a rich person behind me as a godfather to pump me up with money and say, "Oh, my dear, do what you want to do," and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you are being taken care of. No, I didn't have that. But all I had was that big daddy in whom I had complete faith in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when I went about with this path, with that implicit faith, it was a time when I did not know whether I'm jumping in the valley or am I going to fly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was my first lesson on this spiritual journey. That faith is not about when things are going your way. Faith is about when everything is going the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Faith
Mm-hmm.
is not about when you can see the entire roadmap. Faith is that conviction when you can see nothing ahead. And that was the onset of my journey. And it moved me towards my spiritual calling. Where I stand today is with the grace of God, from absolute zero and underground that He has
Mm-hmm.
brought me to this stage is all due to grace and all the wonderful people like you who have come in my path as human forms of God to support my journey, to trust in me, to trust in being of service to God and thereby to them. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I stand today.
It's fantastic. It's really inspiring. I can imagine the fear of going through all of this, and you must have been tetanized, saying, "What's happening? What's happening to me? Do I trust this this spirit, or do I go back?" And it can be very draining, and you can start to really not believing in yourself and starting to think that you're getting crazy. And luckily you just had faith. Like you said, faith is the opposite of having this roadmap. You just have to take one step at a time and believe that you're gonna get there. So we're just gonna see a short video of what you've just describe here your journey, and then we'll be back to continue the conversation. So don't go anywhere.
Sure.
We will be back in few minutes.
Thank you.
Whether it was the high flying time while I was at the top in the media world, for over 2 decades, loving all the glamour of an on the rocks life, but bina piye, or coming to a rock bottom after my life death illness. मैं friends पूरे विश्वास और शुक्र से कह सकती हूँ that I deeply believe that जिंदगी rocks. So welcome to my podcast with me, Roshani Shenazz, your spiritual fellow journeyer. जो मुझे नहीं जानते, let me tell you, nothing has been easy. I've lived through life-altering moments, emerging with the resilience of a phoenix that fuels my journey. मैंने लाइफ की ऊंचाइयां भी देखी है और डरावनी खाई भी. And yet, कर्मा को कुछ और ही मंजूर था. So when I was at the top wanting to direct a film, God ने मेरे लाइफ की स्क्रिप्ट ही बदल दी. And made me leave everything to follow my spiritual calling. Zindagi rocks. इस पॉडकास्ट के पहले सीजन में I shall share with you all about karma and spirituality through 15 different aspects on how karma works. संस्काराज क्या है? पुश्तैनी कर्मा क्या होता है? And much more that you've always been curious about. तो चलिए जानते हैं कुछ बातों का मतलब और करते हैं कुछ मतलब की बातें. क्या मतलब? Stay tuned, stay blessed in love and light and super duper Godspeed.
So we are back, and if you're just joining us, my guest today is Sister Roshani Shenazz, and I think you've already, had a snip of her, journey, the inspiring journey from rock bottom, when from the start when she started going to rock bottom, and now emerging again as a different, with a different spiritual journey that she is enjoying. It was not easy, but she is, she took this, this step of faith, and really, kept pushing. So today we really want to focus on, the spirituality, and how we can, use, whatever spirituality we have, and anything that we go through, and focus on, pushing happiness and well-being in a consistent way. I mean, you've been in, you've had, high responsibility in the film industry in Bollywood. And so how do you think, you kept yourself, grounded, and kept yourself, looking for happiness and well-being?
So, way back in life, I feel, Miral, right from my childhood, there was very less dependency, fortunately, on external factors for happiness, because
Mm-hmm.
my family comes from very meager background, and we were a simple Zoroastrian family living in townside. And my entire upbringing has been whereby I could put it in a sentence that I may not have got things that I wanted, but I always got things that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And thereby, my valuation of happiness was never based on external things, that if I get this doll, then I'll be happy, or if I get that, then I will be happy. It was as if that seamless joy, happiness, humor, fun, being the center of a party or anything of that sort, loving dancing since childhood, and for any event and function that would happen in family, friends, I would be the first one to go on stage and run dancing right from when I was 3 and 4 year old. So I would not really be bothered who is around me, what is happening around me, and what is happening with me. I have even had a fall and fallen down, and there I've stood up again and started dancing in a frenzy. So, when I retrospect, and when I was going through my healing journey myself, because before getting into any of this, God had to empty me out first.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot put good, newly cooked food in a jar that has rotten food.
Mm-hmm.
We have to empty the rotten food. We have to wash the jar or the utensil or the vessel. Then we'll dry it up, we'll clean it, and then we'll put new food into it. And the same thing needs to happen for inside of us. With all the garbage that we carry of unforgiveness, resentments, hurts, humiliation, and so much more, it is not possible for us to put in new, elevated, vibrational frequency energies.
Mm-hmm.
So, when that healing process was going on, I realized a couple of things. The list is long, but few key things.
Mm-hmm.
One, that we all think we are indispensable, but we are not.
Mm-hmm.
I worked my back out in my work life, even through jaundice, even through 104 fever, even through come what may, even with a fractured back, doing things from the hospital. And last, when I was in that entire fighting life and death for almost a year plus, I still was doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that we can be replaced in a second.
Yeah.
The moment you're redundant in any way, we are not needed. And thereby, this entire illusion of indispensability is false.
Mm-hmm.
And how important it is, and it was. Fortunately, my this inherent happy state of being joyful, of being always in high spirits, without having any spirits, mind you, all my life. Even when I partied every single day,
Mm-hmm.
I did not fancy smoking, drinking. And when anybody would say, "Oh, how nice, what a good girl," I said, "No, no, no, there's nothing to be good girl. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. I'm just high on life, and I can dance my head out for 8 hours without a drop of drink." So I realized that all of these things that we otherwise go chasing, If
Mm-hmm.
he says this, I will be happy. If my boyfriend does this, I will be happy. If my husband does this, I'll be happy. If my mother appreciates me, I will think I've done something good. But all of these are external validations that actually weigh us down. I
Mm-hmm.
also have a very beautiful video, if anybody gets time later on, could see, which is on my channel, which is called Honest, Vulnerable Imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
The entire acceptance of being imperfect in so many different ways. And that itself is the perfection about you, because that makes you unique. How you use that imperfection as your tool makes you unique. So I realized that wellness and well being are not a choice or leisure, it
Mm-hmm.
is a compulsion. It has to be as seamless as bathing and brushing and wearing clean clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to be integrated in our life. It is not something from outside that you get in, it is something from within that you allow to surface by removing the debris of the dust and the clutter that you have put onto it. And that was my journey to start helping others. When my healing was complete from within, and when I feel divinity thought that I need to now extend these gifts to other people, is when I got guided that I need to go out into the world now and help people through these gifts. So I would always say that I've not become this or come onto this side of the fence by reading a few books or getting some certificates.
Mm-hmm.
God
Mm-hmm.
has made me pull a thick rope out of a needle hole. It's a cliche sentence that came out during one of my prayers earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that because that's exactly what God did. He experientially made me go through things so that today, when I ask somebody to have faith, to have conviction in themselves and in God, in life, in the higher power, even if you don't believe in God, believing in yourself is power itself.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I am doing it from a space of personal experience, personal faith, and personal surrender, and not just a bread and butter job to
Mm-hmm.
motivate or do something because, as I said, I'm just well read with things. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my big marker. That was my big difference in doing this work, to wake up every day and feel happy because I've been given the opportunity to be of service where
Mm-hmm.
somebody else has become happy.
Fantastic. Yeah, it is so powerful. It is so powerful, and and like you said, sometimes we rely so much on external factor, and we forget that it all starts with us. It all starts with us, being having faith. It all starts with us with knowing what are the gifts that we have, how we feel, and how to clean. And I like what you said is that it's just like everything we have to remove what's bad, and then if we want to put something that is good, and it require a lot of work, and that's probably why people don't want to do it. They want to go the easy way and just say, okay, well, I'm just going to focus on what's external and then just keep going, and not trying to do the hard work. So that's really powerful. Just gonna say hello to some of the guests here, some of the people in the audience. There is Sean. Hey, Quincy. Yes, we are here. We're back for this year. So she's in Florida, in the US, watching from Florida. And I can see there is Lisa. Lisa is here. She's actually appreciating as well from the US as well, completely faith feel exactly, and also how you use your imperfection, unique word of wisdom. Yes, I promise you, I told you that there's going to be a lot of wisdom today with Sister Roshani as a guest. We're going to have a break, and we will be back to continue this inspiring conversation with Sister Roshani, and just going deep again on happiness and wellness, and how what are the tips and that she can share with us to be able to attain them, or at least to get a hold of a snip of it. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes.
Tous les soirs, qui c'est madame en câlin, même si ça t'a fait la peine. Elle est souffert, moi elle souffert,
So we are back. We are back with Sister Roshani, and like I said, this time we want to focus on, if you have tips, because like I said, people really struggle to focus on, themselves, and really going through the process of, cleaning inside and getting, extirping what's not working for them, to bring what's good and can nurture them. So any tips that you can share with the audience?
Sure, sister. So, for anything, I feel that because before we go into what can be done, we first need to know what the problem area is. Just like a doctor, just like anything else, you first need to know what needs to be healed, what needs to change, what needs to transform. And a few things that I have realized through my 2 decade plus career in corporate and creative, and to what I see with friends and clients and so many around, I would like to first kind of, point out the things that hinder the process of well being and happiness in our life. The first one I feel is the biggest one, which is overworking and stress. As I said, our inbuilt funda of being indispensable actually gets us on the back foot so many times and backfires because we do not create our own limits, because we don't know our limits. We are limitless in our being, in our spirit, but the physical, tangible body has its threshold. And it is important for us to know that threshold and to honor our physical, emotional, and mental bodies. So, that is the first thing, because high levels of stress and overworking significantly impact our happiness and well being, which impact the output of work and thereby will impact the bottom line of the company and organization that we are with, because we will not be able to seamlessly function and do our best every day. We will only be going physically into that space because we need to get that check every month. But that is not work is. So when we say work is worship, we also need to worship the very self that is going to do the work. The other part is lack of work life balance, people say. But I wouldn't say or use the word balance. I would like to use the word integration. That work life, personal life, and me life, which is non existent with most. If you see professional and even personal life, the personal life is also all about others. I have to do this for my mother, mother in law, this one, that one, father, brother, husband, boyfriend, sister, friends, colleagues. So, where is the me in that? The vehicle, the very car that needs to be taken to drive you from place A to point B, if you don't have the upkeep of that car, it is going to break down. So if we realize that we are that car, we are that vehicle, and if I truly love my people and my folks and my lot, then I will take care of myself first, so that I don't become redundant and lying in the hospital, realize, oh, my 85-year-old father, what must he be going through coming every day to the hospital because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take care of myself. So, work life integration is very important. And in that work life integration, there has to be three compartments: professional, personal, and me time life. The other thing that also I've seen hinders corporate well being, sorry, is sometimes a lack of dynamic leadership. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want to create adjectives like poor leadership and bad leadership. No. Everything is good or the least intensity of good, as my
Mm-hmm.
master Meher Baba says. So, lack of dynamic leadership, I would say, where ineffective or unsupportive leadership, unempathetic leadership, non compassionate leadership may lead to things that create illnesses, absenteeism, and so many more such things in the employees. So, to realize that there are times when it may not just be me,
Mm-hmm.
I need to look at the entire paraphernalia around me. If there is anything external contributing to me as well. But because I've taken it into my energetic field, it is now belonging to me. And thereby, my actions, words, and thoughts and intentions are going in the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to start detaching, to start healing on how to operate in a detached way, which will help me, in fact, to be more compassionate and understanding and not get rolled into either my own drama that my mind is creating, possibly, or the drama of others.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is drama of others or drama of myself when we get pulled into it? It is like somebody being in a quicksand and you jumping into the quicksand with the intention to pull them out. But you cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be strong. You need to be exactly at the brim, possibly, whereby you have the strength to put your hand out or throw a rope in and start pulling that person out of that rut or that quicksand.
Mm-hmm.
And that can only happen when you are detached, when you're objective, rather than drowning in the thing. Oh, let me jump into this and get him out. Oh my God, he's drowning in the quicksand. So, when we are detached and when work, life, and me time is integrated, we will be more objective towards things around us. The other thing is toxic workplace situations. So, where there is too much of politics, for example,
Mm-hmm.
too much of favoritism, too much of, whereby there is no dignity of labor. Like I
Mm-hmm.
always ask people in so many corporate workshops that the aspect of dignity of labor is very, very high. To be honoring that peon or the office boy who is serving you hot coffee and tea is as important as a manager doing some of his work.
Mm-hmm.
So, toxic workplace dynamics also create this conflict, lack of trust, ineffective conflict resolution mechanisms, because the person knows, oh, this person is always going to be in the favorite book, and I'm never going to get justice or fairness out of this situation. So people start suppressing. Suppression is a big killer and a big cause of a lot of ailments.
Mm-hmm.
Then inadequate resources for support. When employees kind of think that they don't have the necessary resources and support, either for their training in professional life or their aspect of personal life. I feel all corporates just today, as we have human resources, potential, this, that, should have under the HR a wellness coach and a spiritual well being counselor and so on. So that the employees have a venting,
Mm-hmm.
kind of compartment or a way through. If a chimney is not there in a factory, the factory will burst.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens when people bring their home problems to work and take work problems to home, because life is not integrated. It's fragmented. And yet, it is all dependent and codependent on each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, creating this space where there could be a prayer room or a little meditation room, just a quiet, simple room with no furniture, carpeted, where people can just go, even if they are in anxiety or panic before a great presentation. There could be a room that one could just go and just sit, just breathe,
Mm-hmm.
and just be there with themselves. Then there could be also examples of inadequate or limited opportunities for growth. Once again, the other earlier parts also play in, whereby favoritism and office politics could stunt somebody's growth, they feel, or somebody really is not up to the mark and may not be able to catch up with the pace of others moving ahead in the organization. And that's where they feel unfulfilled, they feel stagnant, and many a times get into maybe wrongdoings at work as well, where it is unethical actions or intentions for someone, or to do wrong to someone just to get themselves a higher.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of these things, lack of recognition, lack of appreciation, unhealthy competition that may be encouraged by the inadequacy of the leadership at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of these things and inadequate communication with the powers to be. Most of the organizations operate in closed door
Mm-hmm.
policies whereby the hierarchy is not accessible to the downline. And that I have seen creates a lot of muck down here, because they know that they will always remain here and they cannot pass through. And what goes over through this point is only what this level will tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And thereby trying to do things with people pleasing, which is another main drawback in well-being and happiness. So there are several, Mirel, sister,
Mm-hmm.
and it is just that it is very deep down a prayer which I have every single day, that may all corporates wake up to this,
Mm-hmm.
because it is only a happy, truly, a well-being and healthy person in mind, body, and spirit that is going to be an optimal use to you ultimately.
Mm-hmm. 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 And that's that's interesting what you're sharing, because we see, especially now with the digital revolution, we see, whatever you're proposing, it's actually going against what we're trying to achieve with the digital, revolution. We want to do things quickly and really, move, not really take time to sit down and to, like you said, sit back and try to, put a little bit more structure, and really think about, about ourselves, integrate, our lives, and and really follow the step that you've just described. And it is difficult, and that's why we see a lot of people now having mental health issues, and going through having some strange diseases, that sometimes we don't even know why, and yet, yeah, I think this is exactly the reason, why we actually end up being sick and having those mental health issues. So how do you think, because this, like I said, these are two opposite things. How can we reconcile all of this? I mean, we need to do campaign. What is the way do you think would work, or any proposition that you think will help? I know you've already mentioned a few things. The especially in the corporate world, but any particular one that you feel like, yes, it's gonna make a difference.
I feel the strong part which I said earlier in this section was that having access to mental emotional support, I think, is a big one. And that could be online. Like I am a consultant to a couple of corporates, and it is employees have a one-on-one with me for stipulated number of days that we give in exchange. That this will happen, then this is a group session, these will be one-on-one sessions or whatever. But the fact is that just the way they have HR, you know today there are so many, because our life is all interconnected, where people are going through, maybe his work is fine, but there is so much of illness in his family which is rising up his bills and giving him anxiety and panic because of the debts that he or she is in, right? Now when there is no mental support to even vent out and talk and share, you may not give that person immediate money or anything, or give a hike in his salary, but the very fact, if he has a support system where he can share and there is a compassionate listener at the other end, makes a lot of difference.
And do you think also the prevention, because it's like I don't know which who I was talking recently, where we were talking about psychologists, or where psychologists have become more like the last resort, instead of having psychologists at the beginning of the chain actually guiding people and being part of the development of people, instead of having psychologists just when problems are have arise, and you don't really know what to do anymore. So do you think something like that would actually
Yes.
be will be working, really using psychologists and people, expert in well-being, more into mentoring and coaching, instead of emergency, and when there is an emergency.
Correct. I absolutely agree with you. And that's the reason of this entire approach of being a part of a corporate, being under the HR umbrella, of somebody being there at that designation and post, so that you move towards preventive measures rather than curative. Because our entire concept of spirituality and wellness and well-being is nothing is wrong with me. So you wait for something to get wrong and then you will
Exactly.
go.
Yeah.
You see, so
Yeah.
by human nature and mindset, you tell somebody to come for a spiritual counseling session. Oh, I don't need it. There's nothing wrong with me. But if it can guide you like a GPS does and navigate you through the streets and tell you there is a pothole there and that road is closed and then there is traffic over there, you will not go that road, and you will save so much time to reach your destination. So, if we can take mental health support, emotional and spiritual guidance and support just like that in a preventive way, whereby we utilize this as a GPS on the map of our goals and fulfillment, our life, our health, and happiness and well-being and wellness, then it will be a great shift. It will be a huge shift. And the same thing as you said, the easy part. The problem is that we only run after instant gratifications. We run after what is easy rather than doing what is right. And that was another statement that I live by. When you have a choice to do what is easy and to do what is right, do what is right. And that right is always more difficult. Any transformation is like a volcano, because you suppress so much, you put in so much and like pushed, it is like trying to pack a bag when we are traveling and we are trying to put everything and then sit on the bag and try to close it. That's exactly what we do with our soul, with our life. And to put it, in and trying to push it again and again, sometime the chain is going to break, the lid is going to go off, and everything is going to fall out. So, in
Right.
our life, if we are less resistant to change, if we are less resistant to thinking that, oh, going to a spiritual counselor or for healing or for mental support, emotional support, I'm going to be tagged or labeled in life by my friends, then I'm sorry, those are not your friends. I'm sorry, those are not the people that you should be hanging around with. So there are so many things we need to draw a line and say, no, I will not allow anyone to cross beyond this line, and neither I will dishonor my soul and cross this line.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic, fantastic, powerful. We gotta have the last break, and when we come back, just want to ask you to, to give us, what the key, a key message before we leave the platform, and also see if there is anything that you want to share with us as far as the service that you're providing, or any particular event that you'll be doing. But let's have a short break, and we will be back later on. It's actually the result of a long journey in the oil and gas industry, working worldwide. And so I've been in this industry for 20 years. And like Deborah was saying, there's a big significance in the 20 years, because I got in this industry because I lost my dad. And at some point I just had to stop going to school. I had my bachelor. I stopped because I had to find a job, and then I got into the industry. But I managed to discover the industry and really like it. So this book is really represent a lot for me. I dedicated it to my dad, actually, and also really putting together all that I've learned working in the industry as well. So through this journey, what I really realized is that when you really want something, you have to go and get it. And going and get it doesn't mean just sit down, have the idea. It's also just put a plan, implement it. Really have to start going and inform the young generation that there are opportunities, and they should actually try to embrace some of those technical career in the oil and gas industry, and that's something that needs still to be done and strategized and start really at a very young age, because it's the industry is growing in Africa, so we will need the workforce, and it's So we are back. We are back with Sister Roshani, and we are getting ready to leave the platform. But I don't want to leave the platform before she can, give us, the message, a key message that she wants us to, to remember, to keep with us as we go, and go back to our own life today after the show. So the floor is yours, Sister Roshani.
Thank you so much, firstly, for everyone who will listen to this. And before I give my key message, I would just like to say that even if a part of a leaf out of my life can be helpful to you in navigating your journey, I will feel blessed to have shared it. So thank you, firstly, once again, for having me here. And my key message, I feel, is that taking care of your own happiness and well being and prioritizing self care should be a non negotiable part of your daily routine. We need to stop having unrealistic expectations for ourselves, for our employees and loved ones and people around us. Because everyone is unique, everyone has their own unique journey, and acceptance of self and others is the key to happiness. It is to start carving these activities in your life that will nourish your mind, body, and spirit, not just the body and not just the mind. The spirit is the important part. Everything in our life is what is within is without. It is not the other way around. So, to understand the dynamics of our existence is very, very important. And therefore, to do things that will cultivate resilience in you, that will boost your mood, enhance your overall sense of well being through either healing modalities, art or dance therapy, laughter, yoga, being of service, volunteering your time, doing something whereby you know you are not going to get anything in return. These are little things in life that will boost your energy, your vibrations, your frequency, and help you integrate that life that I'm talking about of all the three worlds of the mind, body, and spirit. It is also important to remember that self care is not selfish.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mind conditioning says that, but it is not. As I said, the onus and responsibility to take care of myself is of utmost importance so that I do not become a burden on my loved ones
Mm-hmm.
by not being well or being ill. So, the essential part of our health and happiness by practicing mindfulness, by exercising in whichever way that we love, spending time with loved ones through calls whenever you can, if at all there is a proximity and you can meet, great. Then creating events with your family, friends, small events. It could not be just big, just one on one coffee, tea, where you just listen to each other, elevate each other, pursuing your hobbies, bringing that joy in prioritizing this self, this vehicle who is going to travel here, there, everywhere, trying to do things for everyone else in life. And then you will thrive in all aspects of life in every way.
Mm-hmm.
For corporates, for institutions, for schools, for colleges, I would really urge that services like mine with happiness coaching, wellness mentoring, well-being mentoring, and counseling are put in as a non-negotiable part of the curriculum, of the system, of the departments, and that people like me are accessible to your employees, to the children, to the parents, to the teachers, and everyone else, because they are the ones who are making the world.
Mm-hmm.
There is the place where we spend most time with and in. And thereby, what happens over there is very important as well. To create compassionate leadership, conscious leadership, and in creating a happy, well being, and abundant world with such leaders and all of us put together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sister, for this, empowering conversation, and also very powerful, sharing that insight that you've shared with us. And I urge, the audience to. I hope you've taken notes, and if not, I've urged you to connect with Sister Roshani, and
Roshni.
Roshni, sorry, I'm sorry for that, and really, get to know the work that she's doing, and really get to, like she said, to understand what, the happiness coach is doing, and what is, a spiritual coach is doing, and how they can help you, how they can, help you to get, the best, to become the best, because that's really what this platform is all about. Become the best of, that you can be, and really get to the greatness that you were born with, and unleash it to the world. And really understand that it starts with you. It starts with what you have inside. You can't actually work from an empty cup. You have to fill your cup first, and then you can, work properly, and you can bring, the best, to the world and to the people around you, to your loved one and to your community. So that's a very, very important thing to realize. So, Sister Roshani, how do people connect with you, if they want to continue this conversation and get to know a little bit
Sure.
more the work that you're doing?
Sure. So, everyone out there, you could connect with me on social media. My social media is at the rate Roshni Shenazz, ROSHANISHENAZZ, right here on your screen. My social media is the same across all platforms. And you can get on my website, which is roshanishenazz.com, and email us at info@roshanishenazz.com if at all you want to take this conversation further, or seek my services and collaboration for bringing wellness, well-being, and happiness right into your life and helping you to awaken to it, because I can only facilitate you and guide you, just like the GPS, as I said,
Mm-hmm.
to allow you to do that work and give you that direction. But the driving of the car, you have to do, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for having me. And I would love to assist you at any time.
Not a problem. So we are really blessed. We've been blessed to have you today. Thanks for your time, sister. And I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show in 1 hour. We will be going to the US, and we talk about um, greatness in the sport and media industry. So we're kind of staying in the same type of, and we're gonna have we're gonna have Kelsey. Kelsey will be coming all the way from the US, and you will discover her. She is an amazing person as well. So we got to talk about greatness engineering and trailblazing in sport media in the US, because she's a trailblazer. It is predominantly a male dominated industry that she worked in, because she's reporting on all the male sport, NFL, NBA. So it will be a very interesting conversation to know as well how she has traveled this route and became a real force in the media and the sport media in the US. So that's all for today. Thank you for being with us. So you can always watch the show again, and any comment for those who are going to watch the show, later on. Any comment, anything, please put in the comment box, and then I will be following with Sister Roshani if that's something that, or connecting you if that's something you want to do. For now on, it's gonna be bye bye. And again, a big thank to sister for the share that she saw her time, and sharing such a wisdom today again. So bye bye, and see you later for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.